What could possibly compel the leader of the German Reich to divert his attention southward to the rugged terrain of the Balkans when the grand prize of the Soviet Union lay waiting to the east? In the spring of 1941, with plans for the largest land invasion in history reaching their final stages, Adolf Hitler made a calculated and ruthless decision. Before a single German soldier crossed into Soviet territory, the southern flank had to be brutally and unequivocally secured. The strategic imperative was twofold: to protect the vital Romanian oil supplies, the lifeblood of the German war machine, from any potential Allied air attacks originating from the region, and to establish an unbreachable Balkan wall ahead of the impending Eastern campaign. The recent and embarrassing failure of Italy's own campaign against Greece had left a power vacuum and a dangerous vulnerability, one that Germany could not afford. Thus, the stage was set for a swift and overwhelming display of force. The catalyst for immediate action arrived not from Greece, but from its neighbor, Yugoslavia. On the 27th of March 1941, a stunning coup d'etat erupted in Belgrade. A group of fiercely nationalistic Serb military officers, enraged by their government's recent decision to align with the Axis powers, stormed the capital. They swiftly overthrew the regency, denounced the pact, and placed the 17-year-old King Peter on the throne. This act of defiance was an intolerable affront to Hitler. In a fury, he issued what would become known as Führer Directive No. 25, an order that sealed the fate of two nations. The directive was simple and absolute. Yugoslavia was to be crushed, and Greece, already a thorn in the Axis' side, would be dealt with simultaneously. The twin invasions, a coordinated storm of steel and fire, were given their codenames. The assault on Yugoslavia would be Operation 25, while the conquest of Greece was designated Operation Marita. On the 6th of April 1941, the plan was unleashed. Under the supreme command of Field Marshal Wilhelm List, the formidable German 12th Army surged across the borders. This was not a single monolithic force, but a complex and powerful instrument of war, composed of 6 distinct and highly effective units. It included the 1st Panzer Group, a spearhead of armor commanded by the brilliant General Ewald von Kleist, alongside the XXX Panzer Corps under Lieutenant General George Stumy. Supporting these armored thrusts were the specialized soldiers of the 18th Mountain Corps, led by Lieutenant General Franz Böhme, and the disciplined infantry of the XXX Infantry Corps, commanded by Lieutenant General Eugene Ott. The German military employed its signature Blitzkrieg tactics, a terrifying doctrine of lightning war that combined speed, surprise, and overwhelming firepower to shatter enemy defenses before they could even mount a coherent response. Against this onslaught, the armies of Yugoslavia and Greece were about to be swiftly and mercilessly overwhelmed. As dawn broke on that fateful 6th of April, the Luftwaffe's bombers appeared in the skies above Belgrade, beginning an intensive and devastating bombardment of the Yugoslav capital. Simultaneously on the ground, the XXX Panzer Corps began its assault at 5:30 in the morning, pushing across the Bulgarian frontier into Yugoslavia at 2 separate points. The advance was relentless. By the evening of the 8th of April, a mere 2 days into the campaign, the 73rd Infantry Division had captured the crucial town of Prilep. This was more than just a territorial gain. The capture severed the vital rail line connecting Belgrade with Saloniki, effectively isolating Yugoslavia from its allies and any hope of reinforcement from the south. The strategic noose was tightening with every passing hour. On the evening of the 9th of April, General Stumy skillfully deployed his forces just north of Monastir, positioning them perfectly for the next phase of the attack, a decisive strike toward the Greek town of Florina. The fate of Yugoslavia was sealed with astonishing speed. The invasion concluded when an armistice, based on the unconditional surrender of the Royal Yugoslav Army, was signed on the 17th of April, 1941. The ceasefire officially came into effect at noon on the 18th of April, ending the April War in a catastrophic defeat for the Balkan Kingdom. While Yugoslavia was being dismembered, the battle for Greece raged with equal ferocity. In anticipation of the German attack, Greece had received a small but determined reinforcement from the British Commonwealth. This expeditionary force, commanded by General Henry Maitland Wilson, was comprised of the 1st Armored Brigade, the 6th Australian Division, and the 2nd New Zealand Division. In total, some 58,000 men, including 2/3 of the Australian 6th Division, were transported from the battlefields of Africa to make a stand in the mountains of Greece. Yet this aid was not nearly enough. The Greek army found itself caught in an impossible strategic position, outnumbered and forced to defend against both the invading German troops from the north and the lingering Italian forces on the Albanian border. This desperate two-front war meant that the famed Metaxas line, a chain of defensive fortifications along the Bulgarian border, did not receive the adequate troop reinforcements it needed to withstand the German assault. It was quickly overrun.
The Germans, having breached the primary defenses, then executed a classic outflanking maneuver, sweeping around the Greek forces positioned at the Albanian border and cutting them off. This brilliant tactical stroke forced the mass surrender of the Greek army in the west. For the British, Australian, and New Zealand forces, the situation became untenable. Overwhelmed by the speed and power of the German advance, they were compelled to begin a difficult and dangerous fighting retreat with the ultimate grim goal of evacuating from the mainland. The German army's advance was unstoppable. They reached the ancient capital of Athens on the 27th of April and pushed on to Greece's southern shore by the 30th of April.
In the process, they captured 7,000 British, Australian, and New Zealand personnel, effectively ending the battle for the mainland with a decisive and total victory. The conquest of Greece was formally completed with the airborne capture of the island of Crete a month later. The human cost of this swift Balkan campaign was immense, though heavily one-sided. In the fight for Greece, the Germans took an astonishing 220,000 Greek soldiers as prisoners of war, along with another 20,000 British and Commonwealth troops. The combined German losses across both the Greek and Yugoslavian campaigns were approximately 2,500 dead, 6,000 wounded, and 3,000 missing. For the invasion of Yugoslavia alone, German casualties were remarkably light, numbering only 151 killed, 392 wounded, and 15 missing, a testament to the speed and efficiency of their operation. The price of defeat for the defenders was far steeper. British Commonwealth casualties in Greece amounted to 903 killed, 1,250 wounded, and a staggering 13,958 captured. For Greece, the nation that had first defied the Axis and fought so valiantly, the losses were grievous, with 13,408 soldiers killed and 42,485 wounded. The Balkan flank was secure, but the path had been paved with the blood of its defenders.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts or next video ideas.